right arm over the bowler bowling right arm over the wicket. Batter plays the ball into the air.
Welcome back to AmeriCricket TV. I'm Richard Ray.
And I'm Anil Shankaramanchi. Team USA made history on Wednesday, seeing in the West Indies the unbeaten South Africa.
You know, this is the first time ever that a national team advances to the second round, the Super 8, on its first appearance
In
a
any
World Cup.
Yeah,
It's amazing stuff.
Absolutely. Now, unfortunately, South Africa remains unbeaten, giving quite a setback to the American team.
Let's watch. South Africa had to work hard to earn a win over the fast-improving United States team in the opening game of the Super 8. IndvsAus had a big match against the country of his birth, making 80 runs off 47 balls for Team USA, including 5 sixes. Harmeet Singh also had a big day for Team USA. But it was South Africa's Quinton de Kock who was named player of the match with 74 runs off 40 balls. In the end, South Africa won by 18 runs. They are heavily favored to advance to the semifinal. Team USA has 2 more matches in their effort to get to the next round. Now, in the second game on Wednesday, England beat the West Indies. A bit of a surprise.
Absolutely. Now, the thing is, when you're talking about temperature relative to pitch, it matters. And England is very much different from West Indies. So it was quite the upset to see that they conquered that, even with home field advantage going to the West Indian team.
Let's take a look at some graphics here on the group play going into this Super 8. In Group 1, India, Australia, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh.
Group 2, USA, England, West Indies, South Africa.
Now, Wednesday in the first game, USA did get beat by South Africa. England beat the West Indies. As we're taping this, Afghanistan just lost to India, which I know is your favorite. And later tonight, it's going to be Australia and Bangladesh.
Now, Friday, it's England and South Africa. The USA takes on the West Indies. Saturday, it's India and Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Australia.
Group play in the Super 8 will wrap up on Sunday and Monday with the USA, England, West Indies, South Africa, Australia versus India, and Afghanistan versus Bangladesh.
All Super 8 games are being played out of the United States, with the final June 29th in Barbados. Who do we see going to that title match?
I know you like India, and I'm going to go with him because early on, the first episode, Anil correctly predicted a couple of surprises were going to come out of group play, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. In fact, they did. So I'm going to go with you on that.
So I really like, from the groups that we have, I really like India winning. But in Group 2, we have quite the stack up against USA. I remember Ravi was saying it would be really cool to see in this World Cup that India would play USA. However, that's a stacked group. So I ideally want to see India USA, but
that would be the dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, this USA team has been a surprise, the surprise of the tournament. And the team itself is kind of a surprise.
Absolutely. They've been able to knock off and dethrone Pakistan, which is number 6 in the world, at their first time seeing them. And their ability of playing during the USA versus Canada match was also really exciting to watch.
And these guys aren't full-time cricketers.
Wait, what?
In fact, most of them are part-timers. Take a look at the team. The USA's World Cup team has shocked the cricket world with an unlikely cast of 9-to-5ers. Many are part-time pros with full-time day jobs, and they're beating some of the highest-paid talent in the world. Star bowler Saurabh Netravalkar, for example, he has a full-time job as a software engineer for Oracle. He apparently takes Zoom calls about business between practices and games. Ali Khan has worked part-time as an Uber driver. Harmeet Singh, another star cricketer, has worked odd jobs at gas stations and malls, occasionally coaching kids on the sport. It is a diverse bunch. Vice Captain Aaron Jones was born in New York, but he grew up in the West Indies. Others, like Netravalkar, immigrated from South Asia to pursue careers outside cricket. Corey Anderson, who grew up in New Zealand, married a woman from Dallas, Texas, and lives here now. IndvsAus was born in South Africa, and he now also calls the Dallas area home. Gauss and Anderson both live in Dallas-Fort Worth, which is a story going forward for us too.
Correct. And I really like that Dallas has really become a nesting ground for cricket culture because it's such a deep part of our sports fanhood that it just, with all of us moving into DFW and it being such a great economic space to be in, we just brought cricket with us.
And at Grand Prairie Stadium is probably the best stadium in the whole country. Now, some have dubbed this USA team the H1B1 team because so many of them came here on visas to explore cricket's or careers outside of cricket.
Absolutely.
But they're great cricket players.
Absolutely. And
been able
that's
to
what
play.
really makes me consider what I'm doing with my 24 hours because
When we come back, cricket umpires are also looking to advance their careers with some classes that went on right here in Dallas-Fort Worth. We'll be back in about 15 seconds.
This past year, I've fallen in love with cricket. And we're very proud to have announced this past year that cricket will become an Olympic sport in America at the LA 28 Games. Oh! Hey, can somebody fix that window? Moving forward together. This wasn't a new peak. This is a new foundation for the work between Indians and Americans in the future. If we did this much in 1 year, I can't wait to see what's next. I'll do this one on my own. You know what's between you and I and the keyboard? Nothing. And when it comes to the United States and India, there's nothing holding us back. I hope nobody's stolen my chole bhature.
That's the ambassador to India from the United States, apparently bitten by the cricket bug.
absolutely, New Delhi is definitely the place to have cricket fever on high. That was Ambassador Eric Garcetti.
And newsies will recognize the name. He was once the mayor of Los Angeles.
Well, that's a fun city to talk about cricket culture in because Los Angeles has their own MLC team called the Los Angeles Knight Riders.
And Major League Cricket starts immediately after the World Cup ends, and that's something we're going to cover here as well.
Which is going to be really fun.
It's not just cricketers that are seeking to increase their opportunities in the sport, but the men and the women who govern the game on the pitch. Look at this.
Batter hits a shot that goes over the boundary without bouncing.
For people like me that have been umpiring for the last few years, getting the experience was one thing, but getting the accreditation, the actual needed certifications to be able to do higher level cricket was very, very difficult in the United States. Now with ICC having a bigger impact in the United States, specifically because of the World Cup coming here, they're actually putting a pathway in place to where we can get our on-field accreditation and all of our certifications to be able to do the higher level umpiring.
I'm bowling right arm over the wicket.
Cricket is in a very nascent stage here in the US. However, there's a lot of focus that's been put in the US market because it's a hot potential market for cricket. And for folks that know about cricket, this is the year of the T20 World Cup and US is one of the co-hosts for the tournament. And that puts a spotlight on the need for facilities and the officials to run the game of cricket. And officials, by saying officials, I mean the umpires. So since there is a lot of focus, there's also a big demand for the umpires in the country to officiate these games. And that puts the focus on training and getting the umpires certified and qualified to officiate these games.
Bowler comes in and bowls.
ICC has not done this kind of a training so far here in the US. There had been other training courses conducted by USA Cricket, but this is directly coming from ICC, which is the apex governing body for cricket in the world.
Definitely we need certified umpires. It's a need for US cricket. US as the 50 states, every state has a leagues. That's what we came to. We know that it's an eastern eastern region of the US. If you say North Carolina, if you say New York, if you say New Jersey, DC area, Washington, Virginia, if you name it any state, there are plenty of cricket is going on.
Okay, just to be clear on this, the International Cricket Council sent their instructors here first time ever, so that these guys could get certification to do higher and higher matches. And those 3 guys we talked to, one of them flew in from San Diego, another from North Carolina, and one from Houston. So another indication this sport is growing. The need for umpires is growing.
Absolutely, because every game needs a ref, right? So when you have more infrastructure at the rule base, when you have more people who can officiate and run the games, then you just add more infrastructure for more games to take place. And I think that's really going to expand the reach that cricket has from its hubs in the US.
Kind of a cool story. When we come back, we're going to hear from you, the viewer. Stay with us.
We'll be right back in 15 seconds.
Okay, look at what Anil's got on here. This is our first attempt at merch, although they're not available yet. These hats. This is a prototype, is that the deal?
Absolutely, and cricket is very much about the gear as much as it is the merch. And I think all of AmeriCricket's signs are definitely going to be for telling people what we're all about.
I love it. AmeriCricket on the hat,
But-
in motion.
But more important than just the gear are the viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a fun little segment here. We're going to talk about some of the comments we've been getting on our YouTube page, and they've really been pretty interesting. I enjoy reading through them. Let's start with one here. This one's from somebody called Charles Stocking S, or maybe Stockings.
Stockings.
Let's go
Charles
with that.
Stockings 663.
You guys have great voices. We'll take that compliment. You explained the rules very well so that a first-time viewer can get the gist of what's happening. Maybe you could do a video about how the scoring system is shown on TV and how it works for those watching a game at home. I think that's a great suggestion. I think that's
Absolutely.
something we could do in a future segment.
Absolutely. When I first started watching the game, I really didn't get why there were so many fractions going on. I didn't like math. But when I tried to process how the announcers were calling each match, and some they would say the team won by runs, some would say they won by wickets. So it was very complicated, but it's a great comment. It's definitely something that we should do.
I'm learning with you guys.
So Vikram Jitsaran 653 told us, would love to see your reaction on test and one-day formats.
Oh, that is something I think Americans really have a problem with. A match that could take 5 days and still end in a tie.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm the TikTok generation. I like my stuff in 6 seconds or less, but you know, having the thrill of watching something for 5 days is definitely a little bit more of it's an acquired taste.
Well, and this T20 format really is made for TV, and it's really taken off
Right.
around the world. And so I think, at least for me, I'm going to stick with the T20.
We can definitely still try to watch a game though.
This next one is from Niklesh Serv. It's a long email. It's got some good stuff in there, but let's jump to the bottom. He says, cricket news from South America. He'd like to see cricket news from South America. Not just in America now, in the West Indies. That's possible. I mean, we're not going to get on a plane and fly to South America, but if you've got video of cricket being played in South America and it's interesting, we want to see it. It might get on the show.
Please, please. There's an email that you'll see on the title cards, and I'll say it right now. contact@americricket.tv is going to be where you send all of your fan videos. Send us your funny training videos, any accidents that you thought were hilarious. We'd love to see anything impressive, funny. Just send it all to us, because this show is equally about you guys as much as it is the people that are playing in the leagues.
Okay, let's jump ahead to Real Fan Sports. Love the production, guys. It was cool meeting you and G-Man, one of our photographers, the other day. Keep up the good work. And I can explain that, Anil. Grav and I met him at this young man from Louisiana at the USA-Canada game, and apparently they have an excellent podcast, and they do cover sports other than the major sports in America. And I told him, again, if there's stuff going on that you guys are covering that you would, we'll give it a run. Send it. Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I like podcasts.
Absolutely.
N8 Nate says, well done, guys. I'm watching from England, but I think you're doing a great service for newcomers to the sport we love. Keep it up.
I love that. From England. We're an international show, Anil.
Absolutely. And Lords being the birth of cricket, it means a lot that the people that originated the culture have now accepted that we're spreading it. We're part of the fold now. This next question comes from Aditya Singh 6278. How about the USA reaching the quarterfinals into semifinals? Still Americans will ignore it?
I'm afraid that cricket could have done a better job of marketing the World Cup here. It's getting some traction, but I think it could have got a lot more with just a little more effort. So that may be something we talk about in the future. But if the USA were to get to the finals, for example, I don't know how the country could ignore it.
I certainly think that more than the leagues and the boards and the overseeing organizations, it really is the fans bringing it to the other fans. And I think that's the beautiful part of sports culture. Like you would share your favorite food with a friend, you'd share your favorite song with a friend. This has literally been the fans of cricket sharing it to people who might not know what it is, and that's just been an experience.
I love this one. OMG, oh my God, Uncle Richard is so tall. I think that's going to become my name on this show from now on. I've seen Uncle Richard in the comments. I am an uncle, but I don't know how that gets
Well, no, in the community, everybody's uncle or auntie, and now you're Uncle Richard.
Okay, so that's a culture.
Richard uncle. Yeah, for sure.
I like that. And finally, I think this channel's growth will reflect the growth of cricket in the U.S. in coming years. You get the vision. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
We want to promote the growth. We want to watch it. We want to chronicle it. We want to show it to you.
Certainly alongside in an active relationship with everybody involved in the sport. So again, you guys are as much part of the show as we are. So please send in your videos. Please send in your questions. And first of all, thank you so much for the kind comments.
Subscribe, like and share. And we'll be back and we're going to do this again.
See you guys next time.